Hello and welcome back to Stranded Deep, welcome back to the map editor, and welcome back to this island that we're making. Last time we were working on the river, we were making the cliffs along here look real nice, so as we kind of, I would say glide through, but we have no control over the speed of the camera at this point. It's one of the quirks of the map editor. So yeah, we made things look real nice, look real sweet. We finished off the spring for the river itself, made it slightly deeper, and added a lot of plants and plant material to the cliffs themselves. We didn't bother putting any plants or material actually in the river because that is deep enough for the game to actually add things itself. So the game will add fish, it will add coral, and it will add rocks to that whole area down there. Hopefully not too many rocks, because we don't want people to get, break their ankles or whatever if they happen to fall off the log. Anyway, we have quite a comprehensive island going on at the moment. It is split roughly into two hemispheres. The north hemisphere with the boat itself is very rocky. It has lots of vertical peaks, and we have a little jumping puzzle out to sea. On the other side of the island we have lots of sand, lots of trees, and it's a lot more of a relaxed environment. However, we did start on this side of the island with the boat, and as such it would be nice to come back and kind of do a little bit more work on it. So that's what we're going to do today. If you're just joining us, we are in the map editor and we are using these controls. We use W to go forward, S to go back, A to go left, D to go right, Q to go down, E to go up. If we select an object, I wanted the shark. There we go. If we select an object, we use R to rotate, T to transform, we press F to focus, we can press C to clone, we can press delete to delete. Is that everything? I think that's everything, unless I'm really forgetting something. If we have an object selected, and we know we have an object selected but these toggles aren't showing, we can always click buttons underneath the terrain objects and camera buttons on the top right. So we have the rotate and the transform buttons at the top, we have the focus button at the bottom, and we also have clone and delete. Good to be back. One of the things that we don't have control over is the speed of the camera. So out to sea, the camera is relatively fast, and the closer we get to an object, the slower the camera gets. So, boop. We boop the shark. Yeah, we have literally, we're going at the same speed as we always were. No control over the speed of the camera whatsoever. So that is a slight problem that we're going to have to deal with. The more objects we have on the island, the more herky-jerky the camera is going to be. I'm sorry about that. If I could control it, I would, but I can't. Shark, you're going to have to go, mate, I think. Do we leave him here for a little bit? I mean, he's not doing anything. He's got his little spear gun. He's kind of chilling on the beach. I'll tell you what, we'll leave him for the time being. But we do need to do something with this whole area. We kind of threw it all together after putting the boat in the sea. With its little, well, it looks like it's gone and rammed another boat, cut it in half, and then everyone's just kind of got stuck here. So we are here. We threw some trees and bits and pieces down to get started. It looks good, but it could look better. And we've got this rock pile up here, which you can use to climb up to the top where the forest is. Again, it's good, but it could be better. So what we're going to do is do something here. Let's grab, so we're going to hit up objects. Well, we already are on objects, but if we were on terrain, then we click on objects. We're going to open the rocks section of the toolbox. We are going to click on one of these rocks. Big rock? Big rock 1, big rock 2. Click and grab it, just pull it out of the toolbox. There we go. Is that big enough? No. What about 1? You are very big. You will do, but I'm going to put you on a flat surface. It's going to be hard to see as well. That's going to be a little bit tricky working with so many objects in this space. So we're going to grab the green toggle, the blue toggle. This is good, but it's going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt. So we're just going to move this guy around. You're going to be too big for what we need you to be. Maybe. Yeah, I think it's a bit too thick. Oh no, bit of a thick boy. Right, delete. I think so. Let's come back a bit. We're kind of working on our own heels here. Press T to transform. I need something that's fairly thin. Delete. Goodbye. So big rock. So these first 5 big rocks, I think this is going to be too big as well. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. That's the messed up thing. Yeah, we're going to have to go with big rock 1. Big rock 1 or 2. Big rock 2. I think, yeah, big rock 2 is probably the best. It is Oh, well, an overuse of Big Rock 2 is fine. So we're going to hit T to transform, and we're just going to move him through a 3D space, and until we get to our little walkway up there. But what are you doing? Well, every island that we've made, we've had some sort of cave or little tunnel or something, and I thought, well, we've got this ideal opportunity to really just grab ourselves another little cave opportunity, so we can do that there. Ooh, but that's what do you? I don't think that's going to look very good. Oh, well, I'm sorry, but it's what we're going with. So hold on to your butts on that one. A little bit of a rotate. Now we gotta be very careful. If this snaps onto something else, we're going to be in a situation where this toggle leaps onto something in the background, and we don't know what that thing necessarily is. So I'm going to be a little bit careful, a little bit cautious. Now, how far in are we here? Can we sit in without the rain getting to us? Kinda. Well, what are you building though? Well, it's kind of a cave, kind of grotto. You know when you see a cave or a little indent in a mountain, and you're like, oh, I just wanna go and sit in there. That's basically it. That's literally it. So we're gonna hit terrain and objects, so we don't have anything selected. I'm gonna grab this one, which is probably small rock 4. What are you? Small rock 1. Of course it is. There's only 3 small rocks, and that was one of them. Oh well, sucks to be us. Right, move that out of the way. So we'll go to hit terrain and objects, so we don't have that selected. Objects, please. Big rock 3. Yeah, we can just throw a big rock in there. It will follow the terrain at this point. So we just push it up against the cliff, and then bingo bango, we have a rock that follows the cliff. Great. Rotate it so it comes around a little bit. Nice. Excellent. But what about here? It's kind of like floating a little bit. Yes, I know. Object, terrain objects. In the wrong way. Objects and then terrain. No, it's terrain and then objects. So we're going to put this here. Yeah, there we go. A little bit of a rotate. Pull you out a little bit. Press T to transform. I think it's the red toggle. It is the red toggle. Moving in a 3D space. What are we doing? Well, I know exactly what we're doing. I want to pull that down a little bit. So the path is still there. Excellent. But also we have a little bit of a cave thing going on. See? Excellent. I'm going to have to play around with some more rubbly bits, but it's fine. So put you out a bit more. Excellent. And what we can do here is click that, move you out, and then probably move you across a little bit, and then down into the terrain. Excellent. Now it's looking a little bit too square. So we'll hit R to rotate, and then move you in the same direction as the other rocks. So we're going to follow what already exists. Make you look a little bit more natural. T, you're only there to frame. You're not there to really add support, so that's fine. And then we'll rotate. That's much better. Before it just looked like, oh, we've just made a door of rocks, and it didn't look very good. So we're just tweaking things as we go. This is now looking. I mean, it's fine. It's still fine. It's still a way up. But what we can do is really just help that. So we've got that there. Which one's that? If we hit C to clone, yes, the small rock 1. Hello. You have work to do. So I'll pull you over this way. Green toggle. Let's rotate. Are you small rock 1? No, you're not. You're masquerading as small rock 1. I think you're small rock 3. Let's go down to the small rocks. Let's delete you because we don't need you. No, that's small rock 1. What am I talking about? It's trying to save time by cloning something, and it's just not working. So we're going to press T to transform, pull you down, and just work on a little set of stairs. So we'll click that, press C, T, pull you back, and then put you down. Subtle. It's subtle. Hopefully, what happens is the player comes along and says, ooh, I recognize that. There's a set of steps. I wonder if that's what it is. So T, just move it down, move it back. Click on, what is that in the background? Let's move you down a little bit. There you go. I'm just going to check in here. We haven't just... Oh yeah, we have kind of used up some of the space, so we'll move you out a bit. There we go. What's that whole area there? Out and down. There we go. Move this across and also down. And across and down. Auto rotate. There we go. And then auto rotate. It's kind of hard to see because it is very much... we're very much working in a 3D space. But also, if we go in here... Yep, much better. So we got a little cave thing going on. And I like it. It's cool. It's just us playing around at this point. Clone that. Press T to transform. Bring that up. Push that back. Down. Auto rotate. Rotate it on its axis because we now have too many rocks in the same orientation. And I don't like that. It's not necessarily great. So what we need to do is auto rotate. And essentially create a set of steps that's going up the mountain. Again, C to clone. T to transform. Push it down, out and across, and then back a bit. So we'll pull this one up a little bit, this one up a little bit. There we go. There we go. Yeah. No, I think that's fine. I think that's fine. I think we should get away with that. So what have we done? Well, we slightly modified the rock pile, the rubble pile. We hit terrain objects just to get rid of any selection that we've got. Hit up rocks. So we go to trees, we'll find bush. Hello bush, you are going to help right now. So it's going to be tricky because we've got so much stuff in the area. So what we're going to do is try and push that in to here. Let's get you on the floor. Actually on the floor. Is there any rocks and stuff under there? Yeah. I'm just going to delete that. Delete. Goodbye. Oh, goodbye. You're gone. You were the best of us, and now you've been deleted. So that sucks to be you, old rock, old chum, if that is your real name. Push the bush back into the rock. Yep. So we'll do that because we've got so much stuff here. It's actually, we can be quite aggressive with how this looks in terms of press R to rotate the end of it up. And just really just have it in there. I don't think we're going to clip into the inside. No, we're not, which is fine. And then terrain objects. Objects? There we go. We do have a lot of this dirt on the other side, which is kind of showing through. So I'm going to do the same thing. Grab the bush, press R to rotate it on its axis. On the green toggle and the red toggle and then the blue toggle, and just kind of try and flatten it off a little bit. T to transform, push it back and across. And then down, and then R to rotate, and hopefully it won't let go at any point. And then we'd be sad because at this point it's very much buried in the cliff. We just want a little bit of subtleness of it kind of poking out there, filling up some of the dirt gaps. It's a shame we can't turn objects on and off. That would be super sweet. Yeah, it's kind of, wow. Is that the bush? Nope, that's a rock. So I don't think we can select it anymore. Oh, we can. Yes, we can. Excellent. Ooh. We can select bush. Right, okay. Press T to transform. And then just kind of put it down. The foliage stops at a certain level on it. So what we don't want is the foliage just kind of stopping and you're seeing the raw model underneath. That's fine. I think that's a little bit better than it was. That dirt there showing through. Didn't like it. Wasn't a big fan. Wasn't a big fan. What have we got here in terms of this rock? I think we can pull you up a bit. I think we can. Does that do anything in here? It really doesn't do anything in there that's too worrying. Okay, cool. So that now, I'm just flipping the fingers across the keyboard. It's not a problem. So we've got these steps that go up. We've got these rocks that lead up here. It's subtle, but it's still there. Liking it. I'm liking it a lot. I'm liking it a lot more than I did before, which is nice. We're going to hit terrain objects, so we don't have anything selected, and then we are probably going to do the same thing as we've done with the valley. and we're going to take a shrub. There we go, a bush. We're going to hit R to rotate, put him around as much as we can. In T to transform into the world. Let's rotate. And then just kind of probably flip it the other way around. I think that's definitely the way that we're going to have to go. Remembering that there's a lot of cliff pieces here. And unfortunately, the cliff pieces are kind of all higgledy-piggledy. So we're just kind of working with what we've got. What we've got is super subtle. Keep it subtle. Right, okay, I think that's fine. So we hit terrain objects, so we don't have that selected. And then maybe kind of wanted over here. I think we've already got a bush in the world here. Yeah, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. So what have we got? So we have a ceremon. I think so. Just a little flowering ceremon down there. But we can do a lot with this cliff piece now, which is fine. I think a nana plant is a good idea. Terrain objects, just make sure we don't have that ceremon selected. And then really just go to town on the objects. Again, a little bit tricky. So when we pull something out of the toolbox, it's going to want to clip. We're going to want to follow the terrain. I don't think that's going to be right there. Alcasia. I think we can get that more use out of that, or maybe ceremon, than we are of the nana plant. It is very hard to start parking stuff around here. Rudder rotate. So we've got that connected to a piece of cliff. We might have to position it so some of the leaves just are completely obscured at this point. Not a problem. Not a problem. Pull it down into the terrain. We have spent a lot of time trying to make sure a lot of these plants don't have the leaves visibly obscured by the rocks, but sometimes we're just going to have to deal with it. I think that's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. So what we don't want is it obscuring the actual path for the player. There's going to be a little bit of a problem there. Just a little bit of a problem. Also, there's a huge gap there. It's not a big problem, but we're going to have to put a plant into it. So, can we fit an alcasia in there? Oof. I think we can. The way we're going to do that is... No, you're way too big. You're way too big, little baby one. There we go. T-transform, blue toggle, green toggle. Okay, to rotate. And I think you are now... That's probably where you live now. You can't really see under it, the fact that there's a huge gap there. But get away from the cliff. The camera is kind of stuck. So that's fine. Yeah, this is this is very much probably one of the more fiddly things that we've done. Way more fiddly than just working on things like this. Because you don't have the ground here. You don't have to put plants on the ground. You just have to put plants on the cliff walls. Over here, we already have a bit of a wood going on. We already have like a predefined pathway. And what we need to do is kind of dress this with plants so it doesn't look so, I'd say fake. What we can do is grab another bush, I think, and then have that. Yeah, you kind of got the right idea there. There we go. T to transform, down and back. Rotate. So I'm going to have to find a good side for the bush. Unfortunately, that is a bit of an oxymoron. A good side for that particular bush is kind of, well, I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure. It's a bit of an awkward model to play with. So what we'll do is we'll just have to pull the toggles and hopefully come up with something that works. So twisty toggles, twisty toggles. Like you, I think you're looking good there. The bushes can get stacked. That's quite good. So there are a few of these sprites, leaf sprites, kind of poking through at odd angles. So I've just pulled it up a little bit. So what we have now, we go over here, is the rocks completely obscured and that path is completely visible. Excellent, 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 excellent. We have this thing on the top and it's kind of It bothers me this exists. I think what we can do is add some other plants along here. Maybe even a tree. I think that might be a good idea. So, terrain objects, so we don't have anything selected. So, to clarify, just to go back through everything, we've made a rock pile as a path that goes up the cliff that the player can follow to get to the forest from the side, because otherwise it's just a load of cliffs, and it's kind of tricky to get up there unless you're going to walk to the other side of the island. So we've created a little cave, and we haven't done anything with it at the moment. We have rearranged some of the rocks to make it more obvious that there is a path there and easier to climb, and we are now adding plants to define this area, so define the actual path itself, and by adding the bushes, the path is suddenly a lot easier to spot, especially from a certain angle. Excellent. But up here, it's kind of a bit messy. You can't really see what's going on because of the flat textures. We go to terrain, hit the cog, and then change the time of day. At different times of day, we're going to see different effects based on their shadows. So the rocks themselves will cast different shadows. And it becomes easier and harder to spot, especially at night. So I'll change it back to about midday. There we go. So yeah, you got to keep an eye on things like, so the shadows make the steps easier to see kind of at midday. But then, we need objects. But then the plants are going to define the actual space that you should be walking on. We can't tell a player that they have to absolutely walk on a certain area, but we can kind of suggest. We can always suggest. So PQR ficus. We've got the ficus tree and ficus tree 2. So these objects here give us... let's just back out of that because it's beginning to look like a weird optical illusion. We have the ficus tree and ficus tree 2. The thing is, as we're trying to move it around in this area, it's trying to follow the terrain. That includes any objects that we've positioned, and it's beginning to, well, yeah, it's beginning to look a little bit weird. What we can do is put you there as a tree. Press T. There we go. Much better. Transform you. Have you poking out the rock. I don't mind that. I don't mind it at all. It's not a problem. Right down into the rock itself. Move you back. Move you sideways a little bit. It's fine. So the bulk of the tree is actually in the rock. It's very much obscured by the leaves. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Can we rotate that a little bit? There we go. What we want to do is use the branch to kind of denote that this is a safe area. We've also got some bits and pieces on the back, so we need to make sure that that is so kind of visible, a visible path through there. It's snapped onto the yucca. Interesting. We might never be able to click on the tree again. Nope, I don't think so. I think that's where the tree lives now. Well, GG. Good for the tree. Terrain objects, so we don't have anything crazy selected. Ceremons, we have, I mean, we could put a nana in there. I keep trying to use that nana plant. I don't know why. Don't be like, ooh, you're trying to use that freaking nana everywhere. I'm like, yes. Why? Because it's got a massive collision box and it's a pain in the butt to jump over. Which means if you want to stop someone jumping somewhere, throw a nana down. Just throw them down. Ceramon might be a more useful plant with the foliage and everything. So we'll put you down into the ground, make sure one of the leaves actually hardcore clips into the ground and the other one doesn't. Done. There we go. Oh, wait, what happened? Oh, well, this is as if we planned it. The Ceramon now defines the path. Wait, what? Yeah, look, the path is now way more defined than it was before. That's kind of cool, no? So yeah, it was a little hard to spot, and now it's a lot less hard to spot. Great. But what about here? Oh, the cavey boy. Yeah, terrain objects. Now can we use the nana? I really want to use nana. Yeah, we can use the nana. It can be growing out of a gap in the cliff. There we go. There we go. That nana is in. We can even reselect it once the game decides we should have something else selected, push it back into the cliff itself, and then donezo. Right, is there anything weird going on down here? Not really. Not really. I think that's fine. So we can hit terrain and objects. We are going to... Now what should we put in here? That's a question for the ages. Little potato plant? I mean, we could put a little potato plant. There's going to be foliage and stuff in there anyway. PPs. A yucca inside there? Ooh, that's a bit of a thing, isn't it? But actually quite useful. So I don't think we've got another yucca on this level. No, I don't think we do. I don't think we do. So it would be a good idea to put that there. There's one above, I know that. But what if we do this? And we just gonna have a little look back here. Use the blue toggle, red toggle. Just T, move it out a little bit. And then just make sure that it is actually in the ground, which it isn't. No. Now it is. So, camera is busy just keeping up with current affairs. Okay, cool. So that's a thing. Terrain objects, just real quick. A PP down here somewhere. Probably a good idea. A little bit of PP. Maybe. I mean, there's not that much PP on the island, so that's fine. Do a little blob of PP. Terrain objects, we can go up and then hit up trees, so close that, hit up rocks, hello. Should we put anything in here? Like, do we need anything in here? It's kind of undressed, there's not much in the way of sort of dressing in there. It is a cave that you can wander in, but there's nothing to kind of find. So I'm thinking definitely some sort of plant. Freaking nana. Just a huge ass nana. No, that's too big. Much, much too big. The idea of having smaller plants in there are quite cool, though. We've got the guavas, the pines, the palms, the logs, the ficuses. So between the ficuses, the salmon, the alocasia, there's not really that many plants that we can put in there. That's too big. Sort of a big leafy green plant. Yeah, it's not a huge space. We can check the size of the space, in fact, by going to structures, grabbing the door. So that's the size of the player. And yes, they can kind of wander in. Boop, boop, boop. Just have a little wander. That's fine. I think it's probably okay just to leave it like that. I think it's probably okay. But we do need to throw in some sort of... so what we'll do is grab small rock 3 just to dress this, because it just feels a little bit, I don't know, a little bit nutty, a little bit something it just looks like. Oh, I've got a better idea. So let's get rid of that. Goodbye. We can use the bush, can't we? That's a really good idea. So we go to the trees, we'll find bush. Grab you. What are you doing? Don't worry about it. I know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing, but I know what I'm doing. I really don't know what I'm doing. No, I know what I'm doing. So what we'll do is we'll just move that a little bit. So we've got some of the shrubbery coming through, just in the back. T to transform, and hopefully the game doesn't decide that we need to absolutely select something in the distance. Right to rotate. And we'll just rotate that around. So we have some greenery poking through. Excellent. Well, now it has absolutely selected something in the distance. We're just going to have a look up here, make sure we haven't accidentally just poked a huge shrub through. That's fine. So we have some greenery in the little cave itself. The cave doesn't do much, but it's there. I think we could probably throw that PP actually inside the cave. Might be a good idea. We'll get rid of it, in fact. Yes, please go away. And grab another one from the toolbox. So PQRSPIPI, there we are. And actually throw you further inside. If we drag it from the toolbox, it means it's absolutely harvestable. whereas if we just move the one we had, it kind of isn't. So that's a lot better than it was. A little bit more obscured from this side, which is not necessarily a problem. We still see the path through there. We see the path on the beach. We kind of see the cliff, the cave itself. From this side, if we just trap through, we should see, there we go, the path up the cliff. And it's a lot more noticeable, not more obvious, because we've added all these plants and bits and pieces. It still looks a bit higgledy-piggledy at the top. Well, that's just, you know, it's just a thing that we're going to have to deal with. What we can do, if we wanted to, is just straighten that rock up at the top. Yep, I think that would be fine. And then everything else is just as it is. Good. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I'm liking it. I like it. So that's another use of a lot of plants to kind of show you where to go and to dress up something that would be otherwise boring and very, very, very grey. You know what? I'm going to leave it there for the time being. So if you're liking this, definitely leave a little like, leave a subscribe. And if you do subscribe, click the little bell, because that will give you notifications when videos go live. And I'll tell you what, I'll catch you next time.